Malaysia's most wanted in the 1970s. The legendary Botak Chin, the enigmatic robber, and his Phra Pidta. The legendary Botak Chin. Wong Sui Chin, famously known as Botak Chin, was one of the most notorious and feared criminals in Malaysia in the 1970s. He was born in Kuala Lumpur in the year 1951. In the 1970s, everyone talked about the famous criminal Botak Chin and his amazing amulet. The stories were a little confusing, a mix of daring robberies and bullets that wouldn't hurt him. But the core of the story, the amulet that granted him this invincibility, is what truly sparked my imagination. I couldn't help but wonder if such power could really exist. The story of Botak Chin and his Phra Pidta amulet is a well-known legend in Malaysia. Botak Chin was a famous criminal who was known for his many robberies and violent acts. It spoke of daring robberies, narrow escapes, and a charm that made him impervious to harm and granted him an almost mythical invincibility, allowing him to slip through the grasp of the law time and again. It wasn't until his final crime that he was finally caught and brought to justice. On the playground when I was a kid in primary school, stories flew around like leaves in a windstorm. One story that everyone talked about was about a man named Botak Chin and his lucky charm. It was like a secret whispered between tag and jump rope. The name Botak Chin sounded mysterious, and everyone said his secret was a special charm that he wore, which granted him almost mythical invincibility. The charm was said to protect him from harm and bring good luck to everything he did. When I first came across the tale of Botak Chin, there were many unclear details surrounding him. One interesting aspect of the story was that Botak Chin wore a special kind of amulet from Thailand called Phra Pidta. This amulet shows a Buddha statue with its hands covering its eyes. It's believed to bring protection and good luck. Botak Chin has always believed that the amulet would protect him from harm. From that moment on, a seed was planted in my mind. I craved to unravel the truth behind the legend and understand the power whispered to reside within that strange amulet. That was my first experience believing there was a truly magical object. I want to know more, so I began researching the mystery of the Thai amulet, eager to bring my vision to life. I was determined to discover its secrets and harness its power for myself. I sought out tutorials and read articles on the mystery of Thai amulets. With each new piece of information I gathered, my excitement grew, fueling my determination to make the collection through Thai amulets. The idea of wearing a Thai amulet that held such personal significance and symbolism filled me with a sense of purpose and passion. I knew that my journey into the mysteries of these amulets was just beginning. I did not know it at the time, but this was only the beginning of my journey into the ancient Thai world of amulets, talismans, and lucky charms, and how they can bring positivity and protection into our lives. Amulets often draw their power from the wearer's belief in them. If someone doesn't truly believe the amulet will protect them, it likely won't have a psychological impact and therefore won't seem to work. In the old days, people believed all sorts of interesting things that most scientists today wouldn't agree with. Back then, many people held a deep belief that certain objects could hold amazing powers and bring good luck or protect the wearer from harm. These lucky charms, amulets, and talismans were very important to people in the past. Today, some might laugh at the idea of these magical objects. But for those who believe, they still hold a special significance. But think about it nowadays, how many people wear things like Christian crosses, Virgin Mary, zodiac signs, or even angst pendants? These are all similar to amulets and charms. Even if someone doesn't believe in the magic, they might still feel a sense of security or good fortune from wearing them. So, maybe those old ideas about magical objects aren't entirely gone after all. Some traditions just never die, no matter how modern society may become. In the past, people relied on amulets and lucky charms to bring them a little good luck and protection and keep the bad stuff away. Believe it or not, these venerated objects haven't lost their allure in the contemporary world. These objects are still just as important to many people today. It might not always be obvious, but even people who say they don't believe in such things might secretly have their own lucky charm. Now, let us go through the rise and fall of Botak Chin and his bullets and blessings. Some people in Malaysia even considered Botak Chin, a notorious criminal back then, to be a hero like Robin Hood, who stole from the rich to give to the poor. Today, younger Malaysians might not know him. However, older people who recall seeing his posters all over newspapers and the news because the police had been searching for him for a long time would undoubtedly remember it. Botak Chin. Unlike the usual tales of ghosts or playful spirits, this was the story of a man, a real person, who defied logic. The details were hazy, a mix of daring robberies that left shopkeepers bewildered and shootouts where bullets seemed to veer away from him. But the heart of the legend, the thing that truly ignited my imagination, was the amulet. Today, the legend of Botak Chin would be written anew, or it would end up with the police. He took a deep breath, feeling his lucky charm against his skin, and then disappeared into the growing darkness. Born in Kuala Lumpur on March 3, 1951, Wong Sui Hin, or Botak Chin, as he was called. Bota is a Malay word and means bald in English. However, it's pretty obvious that Botak Chin isn't actually bald at all. In fact, Chin had a thick crop of hair that was styled to fit the 1970s era. In the 1970s, Chin became a notorious gangster, known for his involvement in gang-related activities and violent crimes. He was a notorious criminal in Malaysia, born into a family of 10 siblings. His father worked for the railways. His past was shrouded in mystery. Chin's path to crime began at 15, when he dropped out of school and took a job at the bustling wet market as a fishmonger. But selling fish wasn't for him. His hands were good for more than that. He dreamed of a better life, one that wasn't stuck in the crowded market all day. Chin yearned for something exciting. He listened to stories told by an old man, Ah Long, who sold things at the market. Ah Long talked about a secret world hidden beneath the city, a world of secrets and deals made in the dark. Ah Long said this world was perfect for someone like Chin, someone with a clever mind and a brave heart. One hot afternoon, Chin was balancing on a box to reach a high shelf at the market when a loud noise came from the entrance. A group of tough-looking young men pushed through the crowd, their leader a skinny guy with a gold tooth who looked around like he was hunting for something. This was Ah Kun, a notorious troublemaker everyone in the city knew, and Chin felt scared when he saw him. Ah Kun saw Chin standing tall, even though everyone else was scared. Kun smiled in a mean way and said, well, it seems we've got ourselves a problem here," in a slow, teasing voice. This was a big moment for Chin. He was tired of his life at the market and wanted something more exciting. He looked Ah Kun right in the eye, even though he was scared. This wasn't just about a fight at the market. It was about choosing between his boring life and the unknown adventures Ah Long had talked about. The whole market got quiet. Everyone stopped what they were doing to watch the showdown. Chin's heart was racing like crazy, but he didn't back down. He stood tall and stared right at Ah Kun. Ah Kun's smile disappeared. His eyes narrowed dangerously, and a mean grin spread across his face. Well, he growled in a low voice. Ah Kun's gang members tensed up. They put their hands near hidden weapons, ready for a fight. Chin knew he couldn't win against all of them, but giving up now just wasn't an option. Suddenly, a loud, Deep voice boomed through the tense crowd. "Leave him alone, Ah Kun." A big, strong man pushed his way through the crowd. It was Ah Long. He looked worried, and his face was all wrinkled with age. Ah Long, a weathered old man with respect on the streets, put his hand on Chin's shoulder to calm him down. Ah Kun, the young leader, tried to act tough but seemed a little worried. Ah Long ignored Ah Kun and looked Chin in the eye. "You're a good kid, Chin. This rough life isn't for you," he said quietly. "There's a better way. A way for you to use your brains for something clever." Chin, still scared but curious, looked back at Ah Long. Before Ah Kun could argue, Ah Long led Chin away from the market and into the narrow alleyways behind the busy streets. This meeting changed everything. Ah Long, Chin's unexpected teacher, showed him the hidden world of the city. Ah Long taught Chin how to pick locks, how to lie and cheat without getting caught, and how to be loyal in a world of gangs. Chin was a fast learner with a natural talent for stealing, and he did well under Ah Long's training. Years passed, and Chin became famous. He wasn't called Chin anymore, but Botak Chin, the city's most daring thief. Botak Chin was a famous robber. His robberies were like well-planned dances, showing both skill and cleverness. He stole from rich people, and their fortunes vanished with Botak Chin like smoke in the night. Everyone in the city knew about his crimes, some were scared of him, but others secretly admired him. One night, after a successful robbery, Botak Chin heard a rumor about a special amulet called a Phra Pidta. This amulet was supposedly magic and could make its owner invincible. Botak Chin didn't really believe in magic, but the idea of being invincible was tempting, especially since the police were getting closer to catching him. So, Botak Chin went on a search for the amulet, and he thought of an extra layer of protection. He looked for clues in hidden gambling places and dusty antique shops. Finally, he found an old monk living in a rundown temple. The monk claimed to have the amulet, but he would only give it to Botak Chin if he proved himself worthy. The monk listened carefully to Botak Chin's story. Then he explained that the amulet wouldn't protect him from getting caught. It could only protect him from getting hurt. True invincibility, the monk said, comes from making smart choices. The monk then showed Botak Chin the amulet, a simple Phra Pidta, the serene Buddha radiating a sense of calm. The monk placed it in Botak Chin's hands. "This amulet is powerful," the monk said, his voice low, "but its true power lies in reminding you of the path you walk. Greed and arrogance will be your downfall, not bullets." Botak Chin left the temple with the amulet hanging heavy around his neck. The monk's words echoed in his mind. He felt a surge of confidence, but also a newfound sense of caution. Would the Phra Pidta truly offer protection? Or was it just a reminder of the consequences he might face? In the end, more police lights kept flashing closer and closer, squeezing all hope of escape from Botak Chin. Even his years of experience couldn't help. The Phra Pidta remained a constant companion, a reminder of the monk's words and the ever-present danger of his chosen path. The amulet, his defiance incarnate, thrummed with unseen power. As fate has a way of weaving its inescapable tapestry, even the most skilled thief eventually finds himself caught in its threads. The legend of Botak Chin, fueled by whispers and embellished by time, continues to this day. Did the Phra Pidta truly grant him invincibility? After his mother's death, grief and a lack of guidance pulled Chin away from home. He drifted towards the local tough guys. They acted tough and broke the rules to make them feel like they were part of the group. Little thefts turned into bigger scores, and soon Chin was hooked on the thrill and the easy cash, a decision that would change his life. This path, however, would soon lead him down a dark and dangerous road. After that, he joined the underworld Gang 360 for protection and was impressed with the weapons the gang members owned. On April 19, 1969, Botak Chin and two of his friends took part in a robbery for the first time. At the age of 18, he proudly owned his first firearm. He then formed his own gang shortly thereafter and proceeded to engage in robbery sprees. In that year, Botak Chin engaged in 8 robberies within a month. This led to his first arrest. He was convicted and sentenced to prison for 7 years. Ironically, Due to his good conduct, he was released 2 years earlier. After he got out of prison, he went back to work at the market. But the money wasn't enough, so he started a new gang again to get quick cash like he used to. Botak Chin and his 3 buddies later robbed the Bank of Tokyo on Jalan Imbi. They grabbed around 100,000 ringgit and got away clean. There were no police on their tail. But Chin's luck wouldn't last. One night, he was cruising alone and blew through a red light. Suddenly, his car got lit up with bullets. He somehow survived, but his car was toast. Botak Chin had trouble finding firearms and was forced to rob 3 police officers for their pistols. Botak Chin wasn't done yet. A member of his gang targeted a security guard carrying a fortune, over 200,000 ringgit, in prize money from the horse races. They shot the guard and vanished with the money. The police were hot on their trail. They spotted Botak Chin and his companion in a stolen luxury car. A chase ensued, and the police opened fire. The car screeched to a halt, and Botak Chin made a daring escape into a nearby slum. In the chaos, they abandoned a firearm in the car with their injured companion. Botak Chin wasn't finished running. He stole another car and disappeared once again. News soon reached him of a devastating blow. One of his most trusted lieutenants, a right-hand man, was gunned down in a cold-blooded execution at a grocery store on Covil Hilir Street. The killing sent a shiver down Botak Chin's spine, a reminder of the deadly game he was playing. But it wasn't enough to deter him. Vengeance, perhaps, or the insatiable hunger for power, kept him on his ruthless path. With his share of the stolen prize money, a cool Rm40,000, burning a hole in his pocket, Botak Chin made a move across the border. Thailand beckoned, a haven for those willing to trade blood money for firepower. There, in the shadows of the illegal arms market, he bolstered his arsenal. 19 guns, 5 hand grenades, and a stockpile of almost 1,000 bullets, Botak Chin was building a terrifying war chest. Botak Chin's abilities as a leader began to unravel when other members started questioning his abilities. He quickly moved in to eliminate his challengers, and a few days later, a leader from another gang and one of his own guys, Ah Wong, were both found shot dead in Jinjong village just a few days later. Say Chai, another challenger, met a different fate. Cornered by police on Jalan Alor, he took his own life. In early 1976, things were getting tough for Botak Chin. His gang was shrinking, so he quickly recruited new people. They pulled off 3 big robberies, stealing almost Rm400,000. But the police were closing in. A bloody mess followed Botak Chin wherever he went. 7 of his new gang members were shot dead, and others were arrested. The police found a scary amount of weapons on the dead guys: 5 guns, bullets, and even bombs. Leading the hunt for Botak Chin was a police officer named DSBS Kulasingam, who wouldn't give up until Botak Chin was caught. The chase reached its climax on February 16, 1976. A tip led the police to a wood factory near Jalan Ipoh, Kuala Lumpur, where Botak Chin was believed to be hiding. A meticulously planned operation was set in motion. The net was closing in on the notorious gangster. But Botak Chin's reign, as we'll see, wasn't destined to last. The police had Botak Chin cornered. They surrounded the wood factory at night, waiting in the shadows. Finally, headlights pierced the darkness, a car pulling into the factory yard. 3 men emerged, one of whom was the infamous Botak Chin. They were heavily armed, even carrying grenades. Completely unaware of the trap, they went about their business. A few more gang members showed up to guard the place. That's when the police made their move. Squads from the Special Police Unit burst into the factory, sirens wailing. The patrolling gang members scattered like frightened birds. Inside, Botak Chin and his men sensed something was wrong. They looked out the windows and saw themselves surrounded. A fierce battle erupted. Bullets whizzed through the air for over an hour. Police fired hundreds of rounds and tear gas canisters, while Botak Chin's men shot back and even tossed grenades. The fight was intense. Botak Chin, though tough, wasn't invincible. He was hit several times in the legs and hands. 2 of his companions were not as lucky, They were shot dead. With their leader injured and outnumbered, the remaining gang members crumbled. The police rushed in and secured the wounded Botak Chin. He couldn't resist and was taken to the hospital, where he surprisingly survived despite taking 6 bullets. Botak Chin patched himself up in the hospital, but his freedom was short-lived. He was locked away for a year before facing even harsher charges under a law called the ISA. In the end, Botak Chin admitted his crimes, hoping for leniency, but it wasn't enough to escape the ultimate punishment, the death sentence. Botak Chin wasn't ready to give up. He fought back in court, but it was of no use. Even the highest court in the land rejected his pleas. Botak Chin is stuck in Pidta prison, and a retrial in 1980 confirmed the death sentence. Even behind bars in the tough Pidta prison, Botak Chin wasn't content to stay locked up. In a daring escape attempt, he tried to break free, injuring several prison guards in the process. Facing a mountain of charges, it was his illegal weapons stash that sealed his fate, the death sentence. Here's the strange part. Botak Chin was never officially charged with killing anyone, nor did he ever confess to murder. In Botak Chin's final moments in Pidta prison, as the door to his cell was opened to take him to the execution chamber, Botak said, "It has arrived." Before his execution, Botak Chin had one request: to wear his lucky Phra Pidta amulet during the execution. The judges shut him down, promising only to return it after his death, once they confirmed he was really gone. It was 3 a.m. on June 11, 1981. Botak Chin, only 30 years old, had a final wish: to donate his organs. Sadly, that wasn't meant to be, as he hadn't filled out the proper papers. The story of Botak Chin goes beyond the sensational headlines. It's a glimpse into the complex social landscape of the 1970s in Malaysia, which met a tragic end at the young age of 30. While his crimes caused fear among the public and police, some tales painted him as a Robin Hood figure. Whispers circulated that he shared some of his stolen wealth with those in need and avoided harming innocent people. Despite this Robin Hood image, Botak Chin remained a dangerous criminal. Public sympathy couldn't save him from his fate. His reign of crime eventually caught the attention of a top police officer, Deputy Superintendent, DPS, S. Kulasingham. Nicknamed the Hulk for his imposing stature, Kulasingham relentlessly pursued Botak Chin and ultimately brought him to justice. Kulasingham himself retired in 1985 after a long and distinguished career, passing away on November 29, 2007, at the age of 77, after 34 years in the force. Abu Bakar Hua, once the warden at Taiping prison, told the Star newspaper about Botak Chin. Even though Botak Chin was a scary criminal, Abu Bakar said he could also be friendly. They would pass the time by playing checkers together. Abu Bakar said Botak Chin was very smart, even though he wasn't a big guy. But he is really good at planning things, and he always seemed to be one step ahead.